Welcome to our Achieving Your Optimal Health webinar. We are in our second year of webinars, and you can find them all posted on LasVegasAreaTrails.com under the Health Education link. And you'll see every single webinar that we've done thus far. And give you an example. We have one on the value and strategy of detox, and you click on that and you go right to the webinar page. You can see the description of the webinar. Here's the webinar replay. You scroll down here and find out why it's important to attend the webinar and learn about the person who was the presenter. You can look at the webinar slides at your own pace, and then notes follow that. And so each one of our webinars has this format. And also, I would say, as you look at any one of these webinars, exercise for physical or mental health, the emotion code, how to remove trapped emotional baggage, which lab tests are essential for your optimal health. Each one of these webinars is going to deliver some very powerful training in the area of health. And the whole purpose of this is that we want to achieve and help you achieve your optimal health. And so today, what we're doing is we're very pleased to have Dr. Janet Franco and Dr. Denise Tropea present the science of immunity. And this webinar is going to focus, it's very timely because of, as you know, COVID-19. And the reality of COVID-19 is that it seems that people that have better immune systems are better protected from contracting COVID-19. For example, young people whose immune systems are stronger. On the other hand, people who are in a high risk category, high blood pressure, heart disease, age, they're more susceptible because their immune systems are more compromised. So doesn't it stand to reason that if your immune system, if you can do whatever you can to strengthen your immune system, you're going to be better protected against COVID-19 and nearly 160,000 deaths in this country so far in the past 5 months, which is incredible. So in this webinar, okay, how are we going to prepare you? You're going to learn what is the immune system and what is its importance. And how does the human body develop immunity? How does the immune system respond to viruses and various pathogens? What is antibody testing? And what do the results mean? These are all things that we've heard in the news quite a bit lately, and certainly things that people are very concerned about. So you're going to get the science behind this. And by the time you leave this webinar, the benefits you have received are going to be, you're going to learn how to strengthen your immune system. You're going to know how lifestyle, mental attitude, and diet play a part in keeping your immune system strong. You're going to become familiar with the concept of quantum energy and how our bodies on a cellular level respond to our environment and influence our immune system. So prepare to really have a good foundation or a starting point from which to know how to strengthen your immune system. And a little bit about our presenters. Dr. Janet Franco, she is a PhD, has spent her life as an advocate for veterans. She established the PIFN, Pay It Forward Network, and co-founded the 501c3 Imagine NOW, Imagine Now, Nevada Corporation for Cutting Edge Scientific Theory, Therapy and Treatment of Veterans, first responders, battered women, anoxic, near-drowned babies, contact sports athletes, and others. Janet's dedication to health and wellness stems from the struggle to help her own children overcome major health challenges, including serious head injury and congenital issues. In recognition of her advocacy for wellness, Janet received the prestigious Doctor of Philosophy PhD degree awarded only to a select few from the New Dimension University of California. She has spent a lifetime advocating for and helping disabled armed forces veterans. And for this reason, has also been presented the Humanitarian Lifetime Achievement Award. In 2019, Janet received the My Vegas Magazine Woman of the Year Award, recognizing her lifetime work advocating humanitarian causes. And today, Janet continues her 25-year career as a radio personality, and most recently as co-founder, along with Denise Tropea, of Triple Crown of Health and Wellness. And that's a website, triplecrownscience.com, dedicated to exploring and communicating the greatest advances in health sciences. So that's Janet. And now for Dr. Denise Tropea, she has been with our webinar presentation team, Achieving Your Optimal Health. I think Denise even helped, or she created the name Achieving Your Optimal Health way back over a year ago. She's a board certified foot surgeon and has maintained a private practice in Las Vegas for 25 years. She's originally from New York, New Jersey. See if you can catch her accent or mannerisms here. We'll be watching for that. She's from New York, New Jersey area and completed her studies at the Scholl College of Podiatry in Chicago. She then went on to complete a 2-year residency in surgery and orthopedics in Salt Lake City before opening her practice in Las Vegas. In 2016, she closed her practice in Las Vegas to follow her passion in health and wellness. So she spans both traditional medicine and health and wellness. And there are a few rare people that have that in their background. Her knowledge of medicine, treatment of chronic conditions, the importance of supplementation and exercise, along with her extraordinary skill as a health educator, give her the cutting edge in assisting people in creating their optimal mind, body, and soul health. It's all about wellness with Dr. Tropea. She combines nutrition, exercise, supplementation, which is the foundation to a successful transformation. Every one of us has the power to be the person that we dream of. Her knowledge of medicine, treatment of chronic conditions, and the importance of supplementation gives her the cutting edge in assisting you in creating optimal health. The tools that Dr. Denise Tropea utilizes have been proven to guide your mind, body, and soul. This is what health is all about. The vast majority of people seek the knowledge so they can heal themselves. So look forward, look to Denise or Janet for an initial consultation. Give them a call later after the webinar, connect with them, and you will experience some tremendous health value. So that having been said, I'd like to introduce Dr. Janet Franco and Dr. Denise Tropea.
Oh, David, that is awesome. Thank you so much for that introduction. In listening to you talk, I think about the years and how life just can change in a moment. In a moment's notice, all of a sudden you're going down this road and then away you go over here. And that's really the story of my life. I was actually a professional acrobat for about 14 years. My brothers and I were pretty famous acrobats, and taken out with an injury at the age of 18 and found myself with 4 sons by the time I was 27. And then when Sean went out the window when he was 3, life definitely changed. 4 suicide attempts later, I really had to look at the brain and why he was doing these things, and really spending time with Spirit and God, understanding really what can I do with this child, because all they could do was give him drugs at the time. And my youngest son, Brian, was born with critical asthma and eczema, and he also looked at life at 8 months old. They said he was pronounced dead, and a miracle happened and he came back. And so it's been a journey, a little house in the prairie on steroids.
Oh, wow.
So I decided in 1989, I was invited to do my first radio show with Great Earth Health Food Stores. And I had a product called squalene shark oil that became very big in the health industry. And that took me into many, many years of working with experts and working with the cutting edge scientists that they come up with these great modalities, but they don't know how to bring them to market. So I did TV and radio for quite a long time, and then I went into life coaching, and I realized, David, that, and everybody listening, that you get to a point in your life that you have this buffet. You have this buffet of things, and it's like a plethora of opportunity, if we can look at it that way. And I chose to take the silver lining in what I've been through. Single mom with 4 kids, 2 sick ones. And I decided to make lemonade out of these lemons. And all these years later, in listening to you introduce us, I am grateful that God gave me the faith and the tenacity to hold on. And now I can pay it forward and help others, especially in this time of so-called crisis in our world. And so all that said, Dr. Denise Tropea and I met a while back at a convention, and when you meet somebody, it's just, you feel like you're one. You feel like you don't even need an introduction. It's like you're there, you're together. She has what I don't have, and I have what she doesn't have, and together we're a dynamic team. And after all these years of radio and all these people that say, what do I do when I'm sick? Or what do I do? It's hard. And I thought, well, why don't we put together a protocol? And we could take these categories, and we call it the Triple Crown of Health and Wellness. And we have 3 separate crowns. We have our Sapphire Crown, which is all about oxygen, hyperbaric oxygen therapy, microcirculation. In working with veterans now, we have helped our president get the Mission Act bill passed, which is now reimbursement that we can get for our veterans that are suffering from traumatic brain injury, post-traumatic stress. To date, we have treated successfully over 6,000 veterans with brain injury with hyperbaric oxygen therapy. And that alone is a major, major miracle. It takes about 150 days on the average to restore a brain. And the oxygen, when it gets into the brain does the magic. It starts restoring it, building capillaries and stem cell, and then away we go, and the brain does its magic. So we took that and we extended it. My partner and I opened a nonprofit, and then we started working with anoxic babies, near-drowned babies, autism, diabetes, and we realized that oxygen is the breath of life. So if you have the oxygen in the body and it's suppressed in a certain area, that's usually where your problems arise. So that's our first crown. Now, second crown is our emerald crown. It's our DNA repair and DNA customized nutrition. And I did say DNA repair. We can literally repair the DNA now, which has been around for 70 years, but it just came to America. So Dr. Denise is going to talk about that. Our third crown is our amethyst crown, which our amethyst crown is beautiful. That's quantum. Everything is becoming quantum available. People don't realize what quantum is. If you take your phone and put it to your ear and you get a signal and someone says hello, that frequency is quantum. And that's really the easiest way to say it. So this website you're looking at here is the Triple Crown of Health and Wellness.com. This is a site that's going to be kind of like the Wikipedia of health sciences. This is not a sell site. This is a site where we want to bring the staunch studies and information to the average person. So if you're like me, and I was years ago, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to go when my kids were so ill. This will tell you everything in a nutshell. And then that research library button right there, that's going to be worked on soon. That's going to be the rabbit hole of the website. That's going to be all the studies, the white papers, all the scientists that Dr. Denise and I know, and we're going to be interviewing on a regular basis. That particular button there is going to be an endless information tunnel, so that all those things that these doctors have spent time and money on over all these years, it's going to be at your availability. We have a blog there, which Dr. Denise is going to be doing on a regular basis. We're going to be doing radio shows every week. We're working with the NFL, with CTE. We're doing all kinds of things right now. So there's, you know, when my son was so sick, it was his immune system. His immune system was so bad that this kid, if a gnat bit my son, he would be in the hospital being helicopter flighted to Children's Hospital. That's how bad he was. So I realized that it's the immune system. But today's time, people have no idea what even the immune system is. You say, build your immune system. What, they don't even know what it is. How are they going to build it when they don't know, or protect it when they don't know what it is? So we decided to bring out what we're calling the Triple Crown's Dynamic Duo for your immune system. So of the Triple Crown, there's two specific things that we're going to be bringing to the masses. And that's the quantum energy field and the technology that we can now condense into things like jewelry and different substrate materials like filters for your phone and different things like that. And the second thing we're going to be talking about is the DNA repair. Those together, of all the research I've done, it's almost been 40 years now, David, I have never found anything better than this together. So we have a beautiful slideshow that Dr. Denise put together, and I'm going to turn it over to her because she's got that whole science behind her. And with no further ado, Dr. Denise, take the floor, my dear, and share your magic with everybody. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All righty. Okay, here we go. Yes, thank you, David, and thank you, Janet. And good evening, everyone. A pleasure to be here and discussing this evening what the foundation of our health is all about, and that's our immune system. And we've been hearing a lot about it. And so I just really want to base upon the importance of what things that we should zone in on. Of course, do our own homework, do things that are going to be right for us and our family and our friends, community, etc. But we really have to have that basis of what the proper information is. And it is just so important to know the basics, because science is science. Sure, there's a lot of things that we have discovered, but basic biochemistry, physiology, I mean, it's been the same for eons. And now we're just going that one step further and building with proven alternative medical modalities. So why isn't it not going? Well, the slideshow's not going.
Did you try your down arrow on your?
Yeah, I did. I tried that. All right, let me escape. I'm kind of locked now. I guess I can stop the sharing for the moment. That's weird. I'll do it again. Let me do this one. In fact, I think this one's going to work. Let's do this. Okay. Yes, that's going to work. Okay. So, really, what is the immune system? Well, it's a complex system that we have that prevents us from, dying off of diseases. It's what our body does to identify certain pathogens that come our way, and then our body has to have this so-called battlefield inside in order to then establish our health. Yes, we may get sick, but we have to identify what exactly the pathogen is and how we can actually kill it off, produce antibodies, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. Actually, our skin acts as our first line of defense. There are actually cells in our skin that have immune competent cells. So our immunity starts here. It starts where we have our skin, which is the largest organ. It also protects us. Sure, when you have a break in the skin or a wound, that's where things can happen, such as infection, further disease, because our skin is the first line of defense. Our body components such as tear ducts, mucous membranes, salivary glands, they all contain immune cells. Cells that help they're on the front lines. These cells are on the front lines to help us, so if we don't get infected with something and we don't, we could die from it, yes, but when someone has a strong immune system, then they're going to be able to fight it off. Lymphatic tissue, which is also part of your circulation system, our bone marrow, cells of the spleen, white blood cells, antibodies, they're all part of the immune system. It's a very complex system. It's something that, we just can't, explain in 5 minutes. It's very, very complex, the different cells that come into play when we are presented with a certain pathogen. The 3 main types of immunity, there's innate, natural immunity. This is immunity that we're born with. We've gotten a certain amount from our mother, in which it gives us a chance when we are born that, gives our body a start. And then as time goes on, we have to build that immunity. We have to build that battlefield of protection. So you have acquired adaptive immunity that happens throughout our lifetime due to all different threats. Like you may have, chicken pox or, some other, diseases that we may get, and such as shingles, tonsillitis, strep throat. These are all things that we're getting that we could then get an immunity to, because our body has to see it first, act on it, and then form a protection to it. And then there's active and passive immunity. Active immunity is when almost like we are getting the pathogen, like a herd immunity, in which we're being exposed to it. Like I said before, before the chicken pox vaccine was out, a lot of children would get chicken pox, and then you said, oh, okay, your child has chicken pox, I'll send them over there, let them get chicken pox, so then everybody gets it. And that's good, because once they get it, then they're immune to it. Now, an artificial active immunity is a vaccine, in which you get a vaccine. It does mount a response, but it's an artificial response. Your immune system is not doing it naturally. And then you have passive immunity, in which you are getting antibodies, like say through your mother, through maternal means when you're born. So that's pretty much your 3 types of immunity that we have. So how does the immune system respond to a threat? Well, the first 4 or 5 days of exposure, your innate immunity will try to control the infection, because you have not seen that before. Then the acquired response comes into play to clear it. So all the different cells come into play, such as the T cells, and then they form the memory cells. Then antibodies form. Antibodies is like that, that battlefield of soldiers that they can either remove or neutralize. Not so much remove it, but it neutralizes it. Like, for example, if I had years ago with the hepatitis C. I had that vaccine years ago when it first came out, and we didn't know it wasn't A or B, but it was C. And I worked in the healthcare field. I was a medical technologist. I worked with blood products. I was a phlebotomist. So yes, I had to get the hepatitis C vaccine in order to build my body up of antibodies so I don't wind up getting the disease. And hepatitis C today is the one that causes people to have liver damage, and it can be very, very damaging in that respect, in which people may even, need transplants. But we have gotten it under control, over the years. But in the early days, when I was working in the hospitals in the mid-'80s, we really didn't even know what hepatitis C was. It was non-A, non-B. That's what we called it first, because it wasn't hepatitis A and it wasn't hepatitis B, but it was something different. Testing methods. We hear a lot about today about antibody testing, and that reveals if you have an immune response, if you've responded to the infection, which means you've been exposed. And we have antibodies to a lot of different things. We've been exposed to different viruses, bacteria over time, and our body will form those antibodies. So if someone was to take my blood and see what my antibodies were to hepatitis C, with the COVID-19, since it is a newer virus, it's very difficult to say, how long would those antibodies last? Or it's a coronavirus, and there are many different coronaviruses. So it may be some cross-reactivity in which you may have some antibodies to a coronavirus. You may have had the common cold, or you may have had a nasty flu per se, or a bad upper respiratory problem that was viral, and you can have, antibodies to this. But a specific virus test only shows if you have active virus in your body. So if you had gotten exposed, it's so many days later, there's still active viral particles in your body. So false negatives and positives are very possible with a vast majority of these tests, whether it's for other types of viruses, such as the Epstein-Barr virus, which is the mononucleosis virus. There are people that can test positive for that. Meanwhile, they never really had it, but it's due to that virus maybe cross-reactivity with another. And so the same thing with the coronaviruses. And a lot of the testing that is out, because it's so new, it's hard for us to really say which one is better than the other. Active artificial immunity are vaccines. And I'm just going to touch a little bit on vaccines. We know that that can be a very hot topic, the pros and cons of vaccinations. And do your own research. Really, it's very, very important to do your research on them. I have my own personal beliefs on vaccine, being in the medical field for over 30 years. And it usually takes 12 to 18 months to develop the vaccine properly, or it can take even longer. 3 phases are needed, such as they're done in animals and in the test tube, and then they go to human trials. So there's a lot that goes into actually testing these vaccines and making sure that they are able to be administered to the public. There are a couple of vaccines that are out now. I'm not really talking about COVID. I'm talking about other things that we have seen over time can have very, very detrimental reactions to people. There have been people that have had neurological problems from vaccinations, seizures, also possible autism. I mean, the jury is out on a lot of these. So we really have to make our own decision, risk versus the benefit. And then emergency approval is something that can happen if there's no approved alternative. So when we see that's going on now, we say, well, there's no approved alternative, say, for COVID-19, or is there? When people talk about different medications that have been in the news, and also supplements that can help to strengthen our immune system. So really, do we need to get emergency approval right now with this particular virus? I think there are alternatives out there for us. So vaccine challenges are always there, such as the safety to the public. Does it provide long-term protection? And also to protect the older population. For example, when they get pneumonia vaccines, they have to get them every 5 years, because after a while, then it'll taper off with that particular virus. So all in all, it's still a controversial subject, and I believe it is a personal choice. That's my belief on vaccinations. Because I am such a believer in our bodies can do phenomenal jobs in keeping us protected, healing itself, that's why proven alternative modalities must be discussed. And also people have to realize that there are options out there. And we're starting to see that now. We're starting to see people really come out there and talk about what other alternatives are to help strengthen our immune system, to help us against this particular virus and potentially other, viruses along the way. So when you strengthen your immune system, yes, diet is so important. Eating properly. I know it's just the foundation of just about everything that we do. We talk about eating clean, trying to eliminate the chemicals and the preservatives and the fast food, the things that, America is very passionate about, I gather, but I'm surely not. And supplementation. Supplementation, of course, knowing that we need a certain degree of antioxidants, we need a certain degree of minerals and vitamins. The list goes on. We do know that there are some today that have been zoned in on, and I will talk about that as well. Exercise at least 30 minutes a day. I mean, just take a walk, do some stretching. I know if anyone knows David, and he talks about how he runs every day. I mean, that's just unbelievable. I mean, I enjoy more of, the walking and the swimming and my yoga and, whatever. You have to enjoy it, because if it's something you don't enjoy, then it's just not going to communicate and resonate with your body. So you must do things that you enjoy from an exercise standpoint. And of course, decreasing stress level. Yes, I think that's just a continuum. And we've talked about that so much with all of our webinars on how stress will then lower your immune system because of the fear, because of being scared. So yes, these times, these COVID times, people have been very scared and frightened and don't want to go out and don't want to do and live their lives. And, that's okay. Be smart, but you also have to take care of yourself and your family around you. And then that mental attitude, wow. Now that's real important, because your body is really reacting with your thoughts and also the environment around you. And that's what really leads us into talking about quantum energy. And I've always just been so interested in quantum physics. Granted, the more classical physics for me was drudgery in school, but quantum physics just comes very naturally to me because of my yoga background, talking with people and consulting with people on energy practitioners, people that do Reiki, etc. The energy is just so important. And as we see what's going on in the universe now, in our world today, we see that the energy can be very chaotic. And people that are in tune to that energy, they're going to feel it. We're going to feel it. But now is the time that we can maybe get that positive energy out and give the answers to people that they want. Answers of what can I do to help myself, to help my family, because we need to be healthy. So the age of quantum is here. So the development of holograms that have been imprinted with certain supplements, such as vitamins. We need vitamin D, we need vitamin C, antioxidants, ATP. ATP is the energy in our cells. In our cells, yes. It's that little energizer battery that's in there that keeps the cell going. Without ATP, our cells die off. And if we are really depleted of ATP, yes, we will die. And then, of course, hydrogen, the master antioxidant, very, very important. It hydrates. It also helps to make the cell healthy. It's just phenomenal. Hydrogen is a universal antioxidant. And then, of course, immune boosters such as quercetin and zinc. So these are all things that we may have been hearing in the news, because these actual antioxidants, especially zinc, quercetin, vitamin C, vitamin D, silver, copper, all these things will help to raise your immune system. And the cells of your body is going to communicate with quantum energy fields and bring it to the overall balance of the body.
Hey, Denise, I've got a question.
Yes.
Could you give us your definition of quantum physics as opposed to other forms of physics?
Well, with quantum physics, it's more of the energy around us. Everything has a certain vibration. Everything has a certain frequency. And this is where the life force is. Our cells have a certain frequency. Viruses have a certain frequency. And so quantum physics takes into account the scalar energy, as it's called. Okay, this is what Nikola Tesla talks about. Talks about learning about vibration, energy, and frequency. That's what quantum physics is. It's how we communicate with the outside environment and how our cells communicate with one another. When you talk about classical physics, that's more like Einstein. It's more of cause and effect. The apple, like with Newton, the apple falls from the tree, lands on the floor. That's the gravity. So that's more classical physics. But this is more of things that you cannot see, but they are very real. And that's the energy that is through all around us. Even with our phones, you've got a certain amount of energy that's coming from the cell tower. We can't see it, but it's there, coming in to our phone. And when we get a call, that's because it's been completed. And we are finding that this type of artificial electromagnetic frequency can be very dangerous for us. And I think I've done a webinar on that as well. But there are answers. And the answers is we have to protect ourselves. And we are here at the Triple Crown to do that. So that is just, that quantum energy is, I know sometimes it's very difficult for people to understand, but on our website, we have some great videos in which we really break it down and make it as simple as we can. When we talk about DNA being our master code, that's also resonating with our outside environment. Our DNA replicates in every viable cell we have. And so mistakes happen, mismatches occurs, and our body has to repair it. And necessary building blocks are needed for proper replication of cells. If we don't have proper replication of cells, that can definitely turn into disease. And given enough of those disease cells, you can eventually have an organ death, such as heart failure, liver failure, kidney failure. So if we do not get these proper proteins, these building blocks, especially we find them in our diet, But if our diet is not the greatest, or our soils have been so depleted that our nutritional content of our food has really depleted over the years, the spinach of today and the spinach of 50 years ago, different, then we have to do supplementation. So that's where taking something such as a supplement to repair the DNA is so important. So that's where we get with the dynamic duo. We're talking about our quantum energy, and we're talking about how to repair DNA. Two powerful yet effective modalities, and along with balancing and replicating the cells, we are then raising the vibration of our bodies. By raising vibration of our bodies, we essentially are keeping disease at bay. I mean, we're all walking around with certain potential diseases, let's put it that way. But I know that if I go into the hospital, and yes, there's a lot of disease there, and I don't get a flu shot, I haven't gotten one in almost 30 years. Yes, I have to sign a waiver, but I do not get a flu shot. I do not. And I go into the hospital, I treat patients. Sure, I take the proper precautions, wash my hands, wear the mask, do whatever I have to do. But what else am I doing? I am taking things to help support my immune system. And that to me is the foundation. Then by your level of consciousness also increasing to have the clarity and the focus, this all brings in more of the spiritual too. The body, mind, the spirit, it all plays a part. Because the integration of the body, mind, and spirit is really where the foundation for healing of humanity comes from. All three of them need to be together. Like I said, you just can't work out and then go to McDonald's and then go home and have an argument with your significant other. That just is not good. So, in conclusion, I discussed the importance of what can we do to strengthen our immune system, a little basis of the immune system, and we can just go on for hours talking about the immune system, talking about vaccines. And I think on the website, I'm going to bring more of that to the table. Because there's so much now that people are talking about alternatives to how can I help myself against the virus. Well, you can do things such as the quercetin and the vitamin C and the vitamin D, but we also have something in which we've imprinted on a hologram and you can wear it as well, like I do. And so that to me is just phenomenal technology in which, once again, it's resonating with your cells. And it has been tested and it has been proven. They've been doing holograms on credit cards for a long time, so they work. So anyway, our websites are the Triple Crown of Health and Wellness.com, and then also to go to soulfulrosie.com, in which Janet then talks about her marketing site and all the things she has done for humanity. Thank you.
Okay. Well, I've got a couple questions.
Sure.
As a lot of people are doing, I've been over the past months and even years, but more intensively over the past few months, I've been wanting to strengthen my immune system and looking for supplements that will do that. I've got two supplements. I just wanted to run by you, see if you've heard of them and what you think about them. One is it's called super lysine, and it's a combination of lysine, garlic, and echinacea. Have you heard of that, and what are your thoughts?
Oh, yes, I've heard of all three of them. Echinacea is a wonderful antioxidant. It actually helps against different cold viruses. Between echinacea, berry, all kind of works the same with the bacteria and the viruses. It helps to, once again, promote your immune system. Garlic, unbelievable antioxidant. I eat garlic all the time. A lot of the Italian cooking that I do, I just eat a lot of raw or cooked garlic, let's put it that way. I know people that take garlic pills, but it's a phenomenal antioxidant to really, once again, strengthen the immune system, help the cells to survive. And then we talk about lysine. Lysine is an amino acid, and sure, that's one of the building blocks. And when we talk about our dynamic duo, that's what it is, a combination of our numerous amino acids, proteins, things that our body needs on a cellular level in order to keep the cell and the DNA as healthy as possible.
You know, I wanted to interject something here. We've come a long way, especially with these kids that were so sick. I did give them lysine, choline, different things that support their emotional body and the brain and everything. But now we're in the time of DNA customized nutrition. They can literally take your DNA and put a plant-based formula together just for your DNA. And my testimony to that, I was an acrobat, as you know, but I got a rotator cuff injury that lasted 15 years, 20 years. I couldn't lift my hand above my head for a long, long time. After the first month of being on the DNA plant-based formula for my DNA, I had no more pain in my rotator cuff. And I haven't since then. So it's showing us that, you know, when you're sick or when you're trying to do something, we're picking in the dark, we're shooting in the dark, and hopefully that they'll all be good for our bodies. So some people are not deficient in certain things. So to be able to have your DNA tested and to know exactly what it needs is brilliant. You're talking about moving the markers of science here. Then our DNA repair, are you kidding? This has got 11,000 clinicals done in Czechoslovakia to where it actually goes in and feeds those nanopeptides and those nucleotides that create your DNA, which is what is damaged in the virus, just so you know. So they've been trying to figure out a way to come up with this synthetic to be able to feed this nucleotide. And here we're sitting here 70 years now. In our arsenal we have this, and it just got its FDA clearance in the United States, believe it or not. Isn't that great? In the United States for DNA repair. So that's why the Triple Crown is bringing, it's all about the research. It's all about, you know, making sure that that math matches and it's not just hypothetical. So that's what we're focusing on, is our Emerald Crown is your DNA, nutrition and repair. And then you support it with the oxygen therapies, you support it with microcirculation. And then with Warren Hanchey, which is the father of quantum, that chose the Triple Crown to bring his products through, that's our amethyst crown, that we'll be able to take all of these molecules, like the oxygen molecule, the hydrogen molecule, like Dr. Denise said, and put it into quantum substrate materials. Like we could have drops for water and drops for our coffee and different things that have this robust wide spectrum of modalities in one drop. I mean, we are looking at history here. This is something that we've never been able to do in this world, and we're doing it. And Dr. Denise and I are honored to represent this man, Warren Hanchey, and be able to bring to you affordable. I mean, I had sick baby. My whole counter was full of vitamins and minerals, and I didn't know what I was doing. All I was reading a book, you know, I was just kind of like the witch doctor or something. Now there's no more guesswork.
Yeah.
We can do that for you. And it's very, very affordable. So we don't have to spend the thousands and thousands on becoming a chemist in our kitchen to try to figure out what our body needs. So that was my 2 cents on that, because now we have that. So anybody watching this, get a hold of us. Go to the websites, or information's up there, and we could get you on this dynamic duo and protect yourself. And you know, this whole thing going on with the virus, it's just, after this, it's going to be something else. Because we've taken antibiotics for so long, our immune systems are so weak, we're just inviting all these viruses and all these problems in, where if we just build the army within ourselves, then we don't have to worry, and then you don't have that stress that breaks the immune system down to begin with. So that's just kind of a...
Yeah, it sounds like a silver bullet approach as opposed to the shotgun.
Yes, yes.
My supplements counter is like the shotgun.
I've been there. You know, Debbie, it was $55 million machine that reads your DNA, HIPAA compliant.
Wow.
So it took them 25 years to create this $55 million machine that reads your DNA and puts together this plant-based formulas just for you. How brilliant
Wow.
is that? Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
That's the time we're
since I'm still living in shotgun land, I wanted to run one more supplement by you guys that people have been talking about. And let me share the screen here.
Looks like I'm kind of dark there. I need to turn my light on.
Okay, this is the other one. Have you heard of this?
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Tell me what you know about it.
Well, what it is that monolaurin is found in breast milk. Okay, so it's excellent for, of course, nursing, children that are nursing, and actually does help people to, boost their immune system, help the gut. It is so important in helping your gut health because that is where a lot of your immunity lies as well. And this is also, that's something that we have in our formula as well with our holograms. And Lauracetin, I am a real big fan of it. For example, I've been using this with patients for over 10 years now.
Wow.
Because I saw studies, well, basically the diabetics that kept getting methicillin-resistant Staph aureus. We've all heard of MRSA, right? MRSA. Okay.
No.
Okay. Well, MRSA, it's a type of staph infection, and when your immune system is down, it then starts invading your body. And with diabetics, the first place they're going to get it is on their feet with a wound.
Oh.
So when they have something known as MRSA, we're like, oh no, and it could lead to a bone infection and where we may have to do some amputation, etc. But what I found that people were getting recurrent MRSA as a infection, I would have them use monolaurin, and it would help them not get recurrent MRSA infections because it helps you restore that gut flora. You see, with diabetics, they grow a lot of different wild bacteria in their lower extremity, bacteria that we wouldn't typically grow if we had a wound. But because of the fact that they are immunosuppressed, the whole diabetic, thing with the disease and how the manifestations are and their inability to fight off infections and heal, that's what I found. So that's funny that you should bring that up because I have a special relationship with monolaurin and a variety of things. Also, there have been some people that for Lyme's disease, they have taken it because they have been on so many antibiotics and it wiped out their gut. So they had taken it. So it's an excellent, once again, an excellent supplement. And when children get it and they're nursing, they really can get a good basis to their immune system because it's evident in breast milk.
There was a time, a few years back, I don't know if this is still a, something that's being done, but people would have hydrogenated water and they would have like a special glass rod that they would put into their water. It would hydrogenate it, and I heard that was an important thing. What do you know about that? I don't
really like to show products, but this is what I believe.
Oh my gosh, you got it right with you.
Yeah, hydrogenized water. This is from Japan.
Okay,
hydrogenated water. I've just been very passionate about it in the 5-6 years that I've been with this company. And I've been to Japan and I've been with the scientists that have discovered the benefits of hydrogenized water.
What's the value of it? What does it do?
Hydrogen is the universal antioxidant. When you've heard of miracle waters, heard of in Lourdes, France? There are areas in this world where there are naturally occurring hydrogen in the water, such as
Okay.
France, in Germany, in Mexico. People go there to get healed. I think Lourdes, France is the most well-known. So people go there and they bathe in the water and they drink the water, and they have found it's naturally occurring hydrogen. When they have done studies on people that show the benefits of infusing hydrogen in water, what you're getting is that you're getting an enormous antioxidant effect in which these cells are going to become better hydrated. So they're going to become grapes instead of dehydrated as raisins. They are also going to rebalance themselves. The hydrogen can go through the cell walls so effectively, because hydrogen could go through the blood-brain barrier. It can go through your cells, and what it's going to do is it's going to help that cell rebalance itself so it's not going to die off prematurely. So hydrogenized water is truly anti-aging because it also helps to lengthen the telomeres on your DNA. As you lengthen telomeres on your DNA, you are turning back the clock. As we grow older, our DNA, the telomeres shrink. And as they shrink, that's as we age, and that's just a normal process of aging. But if you can keep those telomeres a little bit longer, then you are turning back the time and you found the fountain of youth.
So for hydrogenated water, you purchase water that's already hydrogenated. Is there a way you can hydrogenate?
Because it's so unstable. I mean, you just can't, because the hydrogen's going to go all over the place. Okay, that's why people do have rods, or they'll do have machines in which they could manufacture the water, drink it. You know, when I buy this, it's already been packaged. It's a special packaging from Japan in which when you open it, then you want to consume it because hydrogen, you know, within a half-hour time or whatever. But this is what had made this the #1 seller in Japan and throughout the world for that matter, because they can keep the hydrogen in there. If I just put it in another type of pouch, or a pouch that you would get like a juice in or something like that, it would just dissipate, you know. Now they have come up with hydrogen machines. They have come up with that, and that could be very beneficial. Also machines that also can do some alkaline water as well. With alkaline water, that's very good for cleaning your vegetables, cleaning certain things around your house, you know, also helping you rebalance the acidity in your body to a degree, you know, with alkaline water. About a pH of 8, 8.5. That's about as high as you want to go. So there's something to be said about both alkaline and both hydrogen. The interesting thing when we talk about hydrogen is that when Warren Hanchey does the holograms, such as in the necklace here that I have, there's actually the hydrogen molecule that's in there. The hydrogen molecule is at a certain angle, believe it or not. It's at a 114-degree angle. As I'm talking with Warren, telling me about that, I had to research it, because when you have hydrogen and he imprints it at a 114-degree angle, the hydrogen then becomes much more alive in your system. It just opens it right up. And you don't need a lot of energy in your body in order for it to go to the cells. It's going to go right in there. I found that to be just extraordinary as they change the hydrogen bond degree. I mean, it's just amazing science. It really
So just wearing that pendant,
it helps you keep you hydrated. Yeah, to a degree. I mean, you still want to, you know, drink your, you know, you still have to work together with your body. You know, you still want to work with your body. You still want to feed your body properly and drink good water and put minerals in your water. Sure, you want to do all that. But I just found it amazing the way he can actually imprint a hydrogen molecule in there.
Wow.
Yeah, and also ATP molecule, which is so important because your body needs the cells. And I think I've been wearing this little, oh gosh, a few weeks now, this pendant. And
Mhm.
yes, I feel that I do have much more energy. I do. Haven't had that, so the headache, the tension headache, haven't had that. So, like I said, who knows? Who knows? But I do feel the difference. I
That's
definitely do.
pretty amazing.
Yeah, it is. It
With
is.
all the supplements, I probably take like 40 supplements a day.
And who
And
knows? I used to do that too. We could be overdoing it.
Yeah.
We could be
yeah,
just because then it's going to take so much energy for the body to metabolize that.
Yeah.
mm,
And that's another thing. After listening to Warren for a couple months now, when we have to take all these supplements, our body has to do some job to expend all that energy to break it down, metabolize it, filter it through the liver or the kidneys.
wow.
It has to do all that. And that's if it even does, because it may have some fillers in there that just get blocked right away, and then you're just going to flush them right out. Your body's just going to flush them out. But if we can do things more naturally, like what Jana was talking about, by a dropper of let's say water imprinted with all this immune strengthening and ATP and hydrogen and protection against 5G, which we didn't even hit upon, but that's all included in the hologram. It's just amazing what your body can do with that little amount. It really is, because it's going to know exactly what to do with it. And you're not going to have to expend a lot of energy. That's big too. The energy in your cells. I mean, your
Yeah,
cells
to
don't have to work
metabolize.
overtime.
Yeah, you can take this secret that we're coming up with soon and think about the animals when they don't get the ATP that they need.
Right.
That 5G just zaps them, and it's been killing the birds. So if we
Yes.
can have this little additive, and you can add it to dogs or cats' water, you can add it to your water, your coffee, your wine, or whatever, and be able to complete keeping your body, because there's no transference. When you take a lot of vitamin C or you take a lot of any supplement, your body has to do the work, like you said, to break it down. But if you're taking an imprint, that frequency is the frequency of your body. So it understands it. It's like English to English versus English to French, and then trying to figure out what they're saying, which is a supplement, and then converting it to what the body needs. And then it has to detox the rest. And then that takes energy, especially when you're sick. That's not good. So it's a lot of energy to digest a lot of supplements. I've been through that too with my kids. I thought I was doing the right thing, but anyway, thank you so much, Dr. Denise. What a great job. That was really good. That was very simplistic and very powerful. And we just want to help as many people as we can. A lot of people are afraid out there, so we have things for them now through the Dynamic Duo. And go to our website, give us a call, let us share some of the science with you, and help your family. And people can go back to work if they know. It's interesting. If you think you can't, if you think you can, you're right. So when you take something and it's doing the right thing for you, it does something to this thing up here in our brains to realize that we're doing the right thing. So it helps with the emotional body big time doing that. So David, thank you so much for inviting us tonight.
Thank you both. This is very informative. And
Yes.
I hope that people listening to this will then, it just opens up a whole new realm of possibility. They'll go to your website, look at the videos, and get a basic understanding what the Triple Crown is, and then go from there.
Yes. And we want to share this video with a lot of people. We're starting our webinar series. Tomorrow we're going to be doing our introduction, and every Thursday at noon Pacific Standard Time, if people go to the triplecrownofhealthandwellness.com, we're going to be doing a live broadcast every Thursday at noon, having all these different experts on. And so we're really, really excited to bring this to the masses all over the world, not just America. This is a global situation we're in, and all for one, one for all, right? Let's go and help heal the world together.
I'm looking forward to that. Well, thank you again, and I hope that this really helps people who are listening to strengthen their immune systems and relieve some of the stress and the fear that we've been facing as a society over the past months.